right, Shane. While I'm talking at first, you go to YouTube and tweet out the link from your Twitter.
Okay.
All right, we are live, a post-Memorial Day Raw edition of BS with CSR. It's been a long time since we've done a podcast. It's been a long time since we've done a show. And I finally had a Monday night off. And we had a show that honestly started out like freaking hot garbage. But I got to say it ended pretty solid. We're going to run through the highlights of tonight. And with me, as always, is my man Shane. Shane, what's happening?
Trying to enjoy this Memorial Day of watching what was a first very bad Raw, but had a pretty cool moment, though.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it ended fairly solid. Let's take it top to bottom here. Let's go. The opening segment, like, I don't even know what that was. I mean, I get it. Brand extension, live SmackDown. Gotta hype it. Gotta let people know what's going on. But it seems so disjointed. Everything was like, oh, hey, we don't really know what's going on yet. We just know this is going to happen. What'd you think, man?
Oh, it was horrible. I mean, Shane, first of all, Shane McMahon always gets a pop now every time he comes out. I mean, it's unbelievable how this guy is still drawing big pops. And, you always wait for them to kind of tell you where the show goes. It's kind of how Raw started for, forever now. And then it just kind of fizzled, like they made no explanation about what the future holds, which I sort of get, but they could have given us a little something, even the New Day acknowledged that, they said, hey, you're dodging the questions here. I mean, can you give us just a little something? I mean, just something at all. And it didn't do anything.
Yeah. That's what threw me off. I mean, and I get it. I think you wanted to give the possibility that New Day may get split up. Personally, I don't think there's a shot in hell you split those guys up. No. They're a top 5 act in WWE right now. But yeah, it was just, and then I'm not gonna lie, I wanted Stephanie to shake it, but she didn't.
I mean, who didn't? What normal man didn't?
Okay. The hatch.
Oh.
The hatch. I should have known it was going to be something stupid.
Oh, yeah.
But I wanted it. I wanted it to be something good. I wanted it to be something cool. Maybe Bray Wyatt coming back, Sister Abigail, I don't know, something. And all it was the damn video game and frickin' Goldberg.
Was it just me, or is the video game has got better promos and vignettes than most things in the actual real, WWE has in years? I mean, the Sting thing was cool. How they did that with him. Even the Ultimate Warrior thing was cool. And now I don't like Goldberg whatsoever anymore. But I mean, it was a cool little piece, But again, it was for a video game. That's it. I mean, again, I'm like you. This could have been Bray Wyatt something.
Well, I mean, now let's be fair. It's for the video game, but we all know what it leads to.
Hall of Fame.
Ultimate Warrior, Sting. With Goldberg, it may lead to Hall of Fame. It may lead to WrestleMania 33 and then Hall of Fame the next year. It's going to lead to more than just a video game. But still, it could have been something. It could have been something. Now, I will say that commercial was pretty damn cool.
Yeah.
And I liked I thought it was pretty cool, but still should have been more.
But so I've got to ask this: do we want a Goldberg, another match? Does anybody actually want that though? The Hall of Fame I can see, but do we want another match?
No, you don't. I mean, you don't want one, but let's be real. Goldberg on Raw and Goldberg at WrestleMania is a draw to casual fans.
Yeah.
You don't remove yourself from being a hardcore fan.
Well, that's true. I mean, but I don't know. I I see Goldberg. Anything is just he's passed. I don't think he gets the draw people. I don't think so. Maybe again, that's just me, not the hardcore fan. You know, I can't separate myself from that. But
yeah, I mean, it doesn't do a lot for me. But all right, so the next thing is, what do you think about the Rollins and Reigns segment?
Horrible. I mean, I know. Yeah, well, I mean, I get what they're. You know, they wanted to have Rollins in. You know, Rollins has been doing that. You know, his first run. You know, being the scaredy cat heel. You know, kind of goes back and forth. You know, he doesn't actually like engage any. But you know, and we saw this Jericho do this a couple of years ago when he came in and kind of like was going to say something and didn't. And I get it. It's to piss you off, but like, I don't know. I thought this could have been done a lot better than what it was. I mean, I know, again, like I tweeted out, you know, on Twitter, these holiday Raws, you know, especially like Memorial Day, they're not very good. I mean, again, we got one good segment tonight, basically, and this was a classic. Just they're not going to put anything on that great on like a Memorial Day Raw. I don't think they are.
See, I liked it. I honestly liked the segment because in my mind, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns don't need to touch until Money in the Bank.
I can agree with that.
And I thought Seth just did a great job of making people think they were going to touch or he was going to go to the ring, and it showed me just how good Seth really is at playing the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one thing, let me ask you, we hadn't had a chance to really talk in a few weeks. What was your thought on the fact that Seth came back and had pretty much immediately reestablished himself as a heel?
No problem with that. I mean, the guy is such a good heel that it made sense to me. And, I mean, you know, I'm a little surprised that they went with him and Roman right away because it is such a big match. And they've even acknowledged saying that they want that to be like a WrestleMania type match. But, you know, it's obviously that Roman's not going to be any type of heel. I mean, he's going to be like really the next John Cena in so many ways than one. So I'm not surprised at all if they went heel. I actually like the move because he's a great heel.
I don't hate it. I would have liked to seen maybe playing up to being a babyface for a few weeks and then doing something to take it back heel before just immediately on night 2.
Well, one, he had a great promo though. I thought that was a good promo.
I agree. It was great, and that's why I don't mind it. But just for me, I would have liked to play it out a little bit. All right. We know the big angle tonight. We're going to save that for last. I got to admit, I don't think it's going anywhere because they don't give a crap about him, and they're not going to use him. I thought the Dolph Ziggler segment was awesome. The fact that it was simply just a kick in the balls and then done, I thought it was badass, and I thought it made Dolph look great.
Well, that may be the best thing that Dolph has done in maybe years. I mean, seriously, but what has this guy done that's kind of relevant? I mean, I didn't see that coming. You know, I thought as soon as he put on the headgear, as soon as he put on the headgear, I was like, we're really gonna, make this a real wrestling match. I mean,
right? That's why it was so great.
Yeah.
Because you thought, oh my God, we're gonna do this. Then he just squares up and kicks him square in the balls and walks out.
Well, I was completely tired of this whole feud anyway, but now I'm kind of back in it.
Yeah. The main event, I didn't really care about. I mean, it was a cool match. I will say the one thing I like about is, and I don't know that they're going to do anything big with it, but I feel like they're trying to make Alberto Del Rio relevant again by putting him in the Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that because Alberto Del Rio deserves to be relevant. He didn't, they ruined his ass when he first came back and then put him in the dumb League of Nations.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't really care about Money in the Bank right now. I mean, okay, first let me ask you, who's in your mind, who's number 7 right now?
Oh, that's a good question. I know a lot of people thought it was going to be Cena, which I don't think it's going to be. I mean,
absolutely not. Not now.
No,
we'll talk about that in a minute.
I don't think you get Finn Balor either. I've kind of guessed that. I really have no clue at this point. I don't really have a good guess at this point. I mean, because I think it's going to be a letdown. I mean, because
I don't. I think it's going to be Bray Wyatt.
I mean, that's probably the case, but again, I mean,
and if it's Bray Wyatt, I think Bray Wyatt has to win.
Really? I see. Even if he is the one to get in, I don't think he wins. I think it's down to two people. I think it's down to Ambrose, and I think it's down to Owens.
Kevin Owens doesn't need to win.
Mm.
And Ambrose is a mistake. I'm sorry. I see where you're coming from with the Ambrose prediction, but that's a mistake.
Mm.
I don't want that. I think you got Bray. If you put Bray Wyatt in the match, I think Bray Wyatt absolutely has to win because you are Ambrose is who Ambrose is. Ambrose is always going to be a mid to top guy. He can shuffle back and forth. Owens is fine. I know all the IWC wants Owens to be a freaking number one guy right now. They want Owens to be the world champ. They want Owens to be in the main event of WrestleMania next year. Look, they're not. They're doing Owens perfect. Owens is on the cusp of being a freaking major star for this company, a company that nobody ever thought he would have a chance with. Don't rush it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it would be a lot cooler to see Bray with it because of the things he could do with it. I mean, would he even actually carry the briefcase? Would the actual Wyatt family hold it for him and all that stuff? I mean, it's little stuff like that he could do.
And I just think about, the way Bray does his, when they do their surprise entrances, no music hits, no nothing. You hit that little stinger of his face and the sound. He's in the ring with the briefcase. He cashes in and win. I mean, it's just so much better than Owens walking around with it, talking about the Kevin Owens show, blah, blah, blah. You have to hit his music. He runs in. It's just a better presentation with Bray, and that's why I think Bray needs, and I hope I'm right on that, but I could be wrong. Freaking Chris Jericho may win it for all I know.
Well, whoever wins this, do you think they have a significant run with it? Like, is it a significant win for them? I mean, because to me, the Sheamus was not significant. That was just because they had to. That to me, is this a significant Money in the Bank winner? I
don't know because you can't pull I don't think you can pull the trigger on WrestleMania again. You cannot do that every. That's like maybe a once every 10 years kind of deal. And I don't think Roman's losing the title for a while. Right. I don't even think he's losing it at SummerSlam. I think maybe, November Survivor Series, something like that, maybe. So no, and that's another reason why I don't see it being Owens because I think the first time you put Owens the belt on Owens, you have to give Owens a significant title reign. Bray Wyatt is the type of character that Bray Wyatt could hold it for a month and then lose it back to Roman or lose it to Seth or lose it to Dean or lose it to somebody else, and he's not hurt by it.
Well, Bray would be perfect, especially if it was Roman he took it from, just because he's always said, anybody but you. Because they're going to play off that for years, I think.
I'll tell you exactly. Here's exactly what I would do. Is I would have Bray Wyatt win it and take it from Roman that night on Money in the Bank. At Money in the Bank, and then Roman could win it back at Battleground the next month.
That very well could happen. That very well could happen.
You have to you're not going to give it to Sammy. You're not going to give it to Kevin here, and that's why, because I don't think anybody's going to get a significant title reign for their first reign. So you're not going to give it to Sammy. You're not going to give it to Kevin. You're not going to give it to Cesaro. You're not going to give it to frickin' I'm blanking on who. Dean. Dean hadn't had it yet. So you're left with Chris Jericho, Alberto Del Rio, or whoever number 7 is. Because I'll say this, if Bray Wyatt's not in the match and doesn't win, I wouldn't be surprised to see Jericho or Del Rio win it and try to cash in and lose.
I could see that with Jericho, Del Rio, no, just because I can see that way of. Again, I just think Jericho's going to be gone sometime soon. He's got to be, I would think.
Yeah, I keep thinking that too, but I'm starting to think this is his final run, and he may stay around for 8-9 months or whatever.
I mean, Grant, I hope he does. I love this Jericho right now.
Yeah, but I don't know. Money in the Bank's interesting. I hope it's Bray because I don't know who else it's going to be if it's not him. For number 7.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like you. That's when you asked me, I had no clue. I mean, I don't think there's any more call up. I don't think there's like a Nakamura or a Finn Balor or anything like that or Samoa Joe.
I don't think. I mean, Joe, you could do because Joe. I don't think you expect Joe to win if he gets called up, but I think if you, with the way the fan base feels about Balor and Nakamura, they would almost expect one of those two guys to win if they get called up, and that's why I don't think you can do those two.
Is it Brock Lesnar?
That would be an interesting curveball, and that would be something that I would kind of dig to watch have Brock.
That just hit me.
And I will say this: if it's Brock needs to come out and cash in that night.
That would be big. Yeah, that would.
Turn around and bam, and just F5 Rollins and Reigns.
Well, and plus, if they were wanting to set up because it seems to me they're going to set up this Reigns, Lesnar, and Rollins triple threat officially. Like they were kind of doing for WrestleMania 31. So if they did that like SummerSlam, that would be an interesting angle to go because Brock's going to be at SummerSlam.
Brock's going to be at SummerSlam, and I think Brock's going to be at Battleground too.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I read this weekend he's scheduled for the July 11th Raw, which everybody thinks is going to be draft night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, did you happen to read the article I wrote on our website, bswithcsr.com, about what I think the draft should be?
Shamefully, I did not know. I know.
What a partner you are.
I know. I'm terrible.
Read my own work. I read every single article you ever write, ever.
Well, because I write pure gold. But anyway, go ahead.
That's actually not true. I read about half your stuff. But, it's going to be on Raw, but man, I think it's a missed opportunity. If they're going to, I think they need to have the network. They have all these live shows. They've done it before. They replaced a live event with King of the Ring. They replaced a live event with Roadblock or whatever the hell that show was. They need to replace a live event and hold a freaking actual draft, NFL draft style, NBA draft style, have all the talent in the green room, have them come out with a SmackDown t-shirt, just like a jersey. They can shake Vince's hand. They can shake Stephanie's hand, Shane's hand, whoever's running the show. I think they need to run a draft like a professional sports league does. I think it would be a cool show, and it would be something different, and it would be something to start this new era and this new brand extension off in a different and creative way.
I don't hate your idea. I guess the only thing is obviously, even the reason why they're doing this brand split is because USA is wanting higher ratings, especially for SmackDown, even though obviously this is going to be on Raw. And I like your idea because, again, it feels special. They have the network now. That would be great. But obviously, again, they're not. And that's the reason why I kind of don't like this whole brand split because they're always going to put emphasis on Raw. They've even talked about, I've even read something where like they're even talking about doing, specials where it's going to be, them combined like after pay-per-views. Like, say after like Battleground, they're going to have like.
No, I read it's only after Mania and SummerSlam, the two big ones.
Okay, well, that may be the case. But still, I don't know. You can still tell that all the emphasis is on Raw. And that's what I think is still going to hurt this whole brand split.
See, I read it's not going to be on Raw. Because I really think Cena's going to go to SmackDown.
I hope so.
And that's gonna mean the emphasis is not on Raw right there. Because if Cena's on SmackDown, I don't give a damn what anybody says. Cena is still by far the biggest star in WWE.
Oh, it is. Do you think they at least do like I don't know how many picks they would do on for the draft, say if it's on Raw, but I can see like a post Raw like the supplemental picks or something like that. I
think they'll absolutely do that because they've done in the past in the old days. They had the supplemental draft on the website, and they just showed the picks.
Yeah, they need to do something special with it.
They will absolutely do that, but I do think that and here's why I don't think having a draft on Raw on the 11th, if that's indeed the date, is the right move because the first live SmackDown is the 19th, so you're going to have the draft, a taped SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
And then move into the live era. I think you got to do something different. That's a way to take advantage of the network. So we just brought him up. John Cena returned tonight. And before we get into what happened with John Cena, I got to say that right out of the chute, I love the direction that Gallows and Anderson were headed by attacking the New Day and making them look like a bunch of bitches, more or less. They just completely annihilated them.
Mm.
And it made me think, okay, cool. We've done this split with AJ until Balor comes up or they do whatever. they're just going to be a badass tag team and just run through the tag team division, which is what everybody expected them to do. Perfect move for them. Then John Cena comes out and cuts a blah, blah, blah. I love America promo. Blah, blah,
who
blah.
doesn't? Yeah.
Yeah. Then AJ Styles comes out, and before what happened, I will say that was one of the coolest moments of Raw I've seen in a long time. It was just freaking
well, especially after a crowd that was absolutely terrible for most of that show. I mean, until really that segment, because that crowd was not into anything. They weren't buying anything.
And you could tell, and I'm sure with what was about to happen, Cena and AJ and everybody in WWE absolutely loved what was going on, because that crowd sat there and chanted for both of those guys for 2 or 3 minutes, and they just ate it up.
Yep.
Well, then Gallows and Anderson come down, and in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, so we're going to get Gallows and Anderson versus Cena and Styles.
Yeah.
But in my head, I'm thinking, I like it for Gallows and Anderson, but I don't really dig this. It's kind of stupid, but I got to admit, WWE completely worked me on that one. I did not see that. I did not see that coming. I did not see AJ Styles turning and just beating the crap out of John Cena and reuniting the club. And it was all at work, all from the beginning, and it was absolutely badass.
Yeah, I didn't see it coming. I mean, because, I expected we were going to get this, like, face-on-face match, and they're still going to buy into it anyway. Or like you said, we were going to get that tag team match, and they're going to pull, like, AJ and Jericho again, and maybe Styles might turn them then. I don't know. But, man, they really did. They worked me, too. I didn't see this coming at all. I mean, I loved it. I mean, I never thought they would turn Styles heel. Even though as good as he was in New Japan, I never thought they would turn him heel like this, just because – one, I'm sure he's been just blowing through merchandise, especially with kids selling those gloves.
That's why I didn't. That's the only reason I didn't think they would turn him heel, is because he has. He's killing it merchandise wise.
Yeah, I mean, and he is pretty much a legit face. I mean, people still cheer him, and he's actually playing the part of a face, which is doesn't happen nowadays. So that's why I never thought that would happen. But man, he turned, and it's awesome.
Yeah. And they were booing the crap out of him, too.
Yeah.
I mean, that Green Bay crowd turned on him immediately.
No, absolutely, yeah.
And I did like the fact that, just to make sure, he went back 3 different times to keep beating the crap out of Cena.
Yeah.
So, obviously, I'm assuming it's going to get announced on SmackDown. Or maybe Raw next week. They may save it for that. But we're going to get Money in the Bank is going to be headlined by the Money in the Bank match, Cena versus Styles, Rollins versus Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
Does Cena put Styles over? And I'm not coming at this from oh my God, Cena never puts anybody over crap, because I don't buy into that garbage. But simple question from me to you: who wins the match?
That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, who goes over in this? I mean, this is obviously not going to be a one-off, I don't think. I think, obviously, Styles kind of needs it just because he has been on a bit of a losing streak, and that's not even trying to me to be the big, hardcore fanboy, and obviously it doesn't hurt Cena any. I don't think either one gets hurt if they lose, but I see, obviously, they're going to play into this club interfering thing.
It doesn't matter to me who goes over in match 1, because I think this is going to go to, you're going to have one-on-one. They're going to fight at Money in the Bank, they're going to fight at Battleground, and they're going to fight at SummerSlam.
This is going to be the Cena Owens of this year, basically.
They're going to fight 3 times. I do think that AJ needs to go over in this feud, because I do think that if AJ doesn't go over in this feud, and he didn't go over in his Reigns feud, I think AJ is a little. I'm not saying the word buried.
Right.
I do think AJ is a little bit damaged if he, as a top player in WWE, if he goes and loses 2 back-to-back feuds.
Yeah. Well, I'm just
really, and honestly, no. Let's re-rack. That's actually 3 feuds that AJ's lost because he lost his Jericho feud.
Yeah.
He lost the Reigns feud, and that would be Cena. So I really think AJ really needs – now, with that being said, my guess is that
he does not, no.
Cena gets one. Cena may get the first one. AJ may get it Battleground, and then Cena wins the SummerSlam.
Yeah. I kind of see that too. Again, this is, like I said, this is the Kevin Owens Cena feud of this year. And the thing I like, obviously, about this is, it's already sounding intense. I love Styles, what he said as he was going up the ramp. He says, I did the world a favor. I am the new era and stuff like that. That's where this feud is going to be. Granted, it's good anyway just because we're actually seeing it. But I don't know. I think I can't wait to see the actual mic work between these guys too. I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to because Styles has got way better.
Oh yeah, he is. He's way better than he was in TNA. That's for damn sure. I'll tell you what I would like to see. I don't think this would happen, but I would like to see because Balor and Nakamura are coming up in the draft. I'm almost certain of it.
Mm.
I would like to see at Battleground Balor and Nakamura team with Cena against the Club. And then at SummerSlam, Balor turns on Cena and helps AJ win the feud, and then Balor joins the Club.
See, that's the other thing. Where does the Club go in this? I mean, how far? I wonder how far the actual plans for the Club is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, they're obviously a big deal, and they keep playing off that. So I wonder how far this thing actually goes.
I think it needs to be big.
Yeah, I mean, I do.
And I think, I think they're going to SmackDown too with Cena.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it needs to be big. I think I would start to. You're never going to recapture the magic of the NWO, but I would try to book them in a takeover style role. Like they're trying to take over the WWE. Mm-hmm. And you could, go back and reveal at some point that, maybe that's why Shane finally came back. We know Shane wanted a Monday Night Raw, but maybe Shane, is the guy behind the Club or something like that. I mean, you got get creative with it. And we're gonna close, here in just a second, but that's going to be the whole key to this brand extension and this brand split is the WWE they have no choice but to get back to storytelling. They cannot rely on wrestling anymore. They cannot rely on just, match after match after match. You're going to cut this roster in half and have 3 hours of Raw and 2 hours of SmackDown. You're going to have to start threading stories throughout the night, kind of like they did with the Club tonight. I mean, you start at the beginning, have the second segment. You're going to have multiple segments a night, of different stories where it's, if Roman Reigns is on Raw, Roman Reigns needs to open the show and close the show, or the Club and John Cena on SmackDown. They need to open the show and close the show. And The Miz, whatever storyline he has, there needs to be you're going to have to tell stories. You cannot just go, you can't go in the days of Undertaker's here. He's coming out segment 1 and then he's gone.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the whole roster on every show anymore.
Right. Yeah, you have to have that thread. You have to. I mean, it's essential now. I mean, especially for. I mean, well, I would say more for Raw. Just because it's 3 hours. I mean, because once that roster gets split, Raw, that's gonna be a tough show to watch even more than I think. So.
Oh, absolutely. Raw's going to be a chore. It already is a chore, and it's going to be even more of a chore unless they start telling dynamic stories again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that you're not going. If you don't do that, this brand split is going to fail. Bottom line.
Yeah.
So we're 3 weeks out from Money in the Bank. It looks like our 3 top matches are set. We don't know who the 7th man in the Money in the Bank is. It doesn't, which kind of disappoints me. It doesn't look like we're going to get a women's Money in the Bank match. It looks like we may get a stupid tag match between your girlfriend, Dana Brooke, and Charlotte, and Becky and Natalya.
Yes.
Real quick, before we get off here, I got to ask you, what do you think about the rumors on the dirt sheets that Vince McMahon has plans for Dana Brooke to be the female Roman Reigns?
Just yes, fantastic. I mean, can you get? I mean, she's great. Just accept it. You know you want to. You know you want to accept how great Dana Brooke is.
She sucks.
Hey, she's a heel. She's
can't
heel.
talk.
She's good. She's good.
She can wrestle. She can't talk.
Hey, she can talk.
She can't wrestle. She can't talk. She's not that great looking either.
She's okay. She's all right. So
she's not that great. I mean, she's not bad, but
there's better. I mean, there's way better there.
Yeah, like 90% of the Diva roster.
Okay, I'll give you that.
It's like her and then Nia Jax.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, you went there. Okay, that's cool.
Right. I mean, that's what I mean, but whatever.
Yeah, that was horrible.
Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for tonight. Memorial Day, felt like we had to give a show. We may have to do this every once in a while, although I don't know when I'm ever going to be able to watch Raw live again. But follow us on Twitter, at Blake Mitchamore, at Shoemaker24. Check out our new website, bscsr.com. We're posting blogs. We're going to try to do a show every now and then. Trying to get our own thing going. We're talking wrestling. We're talking sports. Shane writes about women and entertainment every once in a while. I mean, it's weird stuff.
Yeah.
Shane's kind of a weird guy, but check it out. And we'll catch you next time.